It's Dakota Trapper, another album of the day, but this one's a twofer because I got them and Conspiracy from King Diamond. Great fucking albums. At this time, it was before this, but before these albums, but King Diamond necessarily does storytelling, and this is two storytelling albums. I picked both of them at the same time because to me, when I was growing up as a teenager, I looked at them and Conspiracy being a continuation of them. It just flows together. When I listen to them, I listen to them and Conspiracy back to back every time. So I just put them always together. It's just something I always do, regardless if people do or not. I do, so I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do it that way. Of course, King Diamond has King Diamond on vocals, Andy on guitar, which is he's still with them to this day. They're still touring. I think King Diamond's doing Merciful Fate at the moment. But when he does tour with King Diamond, he's got Andy always with him, so that's a no-brainer on that one. And then Pete on guitar with another lead guitar, and then Hal on bass, and then Mickey D is on drums. Which, if anybody knows who Mickey D is, Mickey D was Lemmy passed away in Motorhead, but he was the drummer in Motorhead, and that's where most people probably know him from the most because that's where he was for his later stint of his career was with Motorhead. This is the Them album, and this album starts out with from the Asylum, which back in the day in the 80s, which I was told by my father and of course his friends, back then when you first heard this album, a very, very scary, eerie intro, and they used to fuck with one another about the intro because it was scary, eerie. It just got under your skin a little bit. It was just because King Diamond's voice, he can get so creepy and so like demonic sounding, like it's ridiculous. So that's why that's why it's so crazy. And then it jumps into Welcome Home. Welcome Home, that's the one everyone knows. Everyone talks about Welcome Home. It is just one of those songs that everybody just when you say King Diamond, if anybody knows who he is, that's the first song that always gets brought up to me is Welcome Home. And then it got Invisible Guest, which would be the second most popular one on the Them album, in my opinion. And then T, Mother's Getting Weaker, Bye Bye Missy, A Broken Spell, I can't talk, I can't say this word, but I'm going to say it anyway. Accusation Chair, there we go. It always gets me. And then Them, which is the title of the track, and then Twilight Symphony and Coming Home. Now, my favorite song on this album is T. And then I like the fact that Mother's Getting Weaker because I think T and Mother's Getting Weaker should be like together. Like, so I almost look at that like as the one song is 4 and 5, which would be T and Mother's Getting Weaker. I do. I think those are the better songs on the album for me. And then after that would be Invisible Guest, then Welcome Home. But everybody goes to Welcome Home. It's one of those things. And then this one came out back in '88, and then he followed it up with Conspiracy. And now Conspiracy is my favorite album, one of my favorite album covers of all time. I know it's just King Diamond's face, but he looks awesome, and it flows, it works, I like it. And then this lineup is the same. Lineup is King Diamond, Andy, Pete, and then Hal, and then Mickey D on drums. Like it's the same. And I think after Conspiracy, I'm not sure, so don't roast me in the comments over this. I'm not sure if Mickey D stayed after Conspiracy. I don't think he did. I'll have to go back and look, but I'm not sure. But this one has At the Grave, Sleepless Nights, which on this album, Sleepless Nights is the one everybody goes to. It's a great song. It's one of my favorite songs ever, but that's the one everybody usually goes to. And it goes to Lies, A Visit from the Dead, The Wedding Dreams, and then Belongs to Them, Something Weird, Victimized, Let It Be Done, and then Cremation. Now this album, I think, people might not know, unless you're a metalhead, you're not going to know this album as fast as you're probably going to know this album. It's just the way it is. When people get the hint of King Diamond, usually it's Abigail album or Them. But this one to me goes harder. It just sounds it just sounds heavier. It just, the storytelling to me just, it gets more gritty because I think it's like the back half of them. So it's like it gets like the aftermath of what happened and shit. So it goes harder for me. And I just think this album is so great. And this is the back. But, and then, I don't know if I showed the back, so I'm going to do this one again. But these are both, I recommend both albums. I think they're both killer. This one came first, then Conspiracy. But I just always, like I said, I'll do these in together because it just makes more sense to my ears and to me just to do them together, because it's like them to me is a continuation, you know, and it jumps into Conspiracy and then it just continues the story of them. But like I said, back in this time, King Diamond, the whole point of King Diamond anyway is because King Diamond's got two bands, Merciful Fate, which came first, and then King Diamond. King Diamond is a storytelling type band. It is more, I want to say, I mean, most people probably think I'm wrong on this, but I just think it just sounds more maideny, more, you know, more artsy sounding. It's got more technical, I guess is the right word. It's more technical sounding. So it's kind of more like storytelling and about atmosphere and you know, a story. And then Merciful Fate is just metal. It's got some atmospheric stuff in it, but it's just straight metal. It's just, that's the way that works, and that's why I like both bands. I prefer, like most people prefer, you know, Merciful Fate because that came first and it goes, you know, it's heavier. But actually, I prefer King Diamond and King Diamond, for me. But I love Merciful Fate the same. They're both good, but I think King Diamond's a little bit better. But they're both, you could literally do this, like, you know, I can literally put them next to each other, like both bands the same. But that'll be it for today. Those are the albums of the day. Them, and then Conspiracy, both by King Diamond. And I'll see y'all later. Thanks.